Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Funnel Trade. I always get these questions at the beginning of the year, and now that we're in January, I'm starting to see them again. People messaging me and asking about actually starting their business, actually taking their hobby in this space and turning it into a real legitimate business in the eyes of the government. And so the process to do that, it's complicated, but it's easy. In effect, it's a lot of steps and it takes some time, and you have to deal with the government. God help us, but none of it's really that hard. Okay, the first thing you do if you're in the U.S., you go to your state's Secretary of State website and you find the part where you register a business. And typically, you just have to pay a few $100s to do that. Every state is different. Here in Texas, I believe it was $300 up front to register it, and then there's no maintenance fee ever. And I've talked with patrons in the past, I believe one in California, and he said there was some kind of yearly maintenance fee to keep your business active in the eyes of the state government. So you go register there. The first thing they're going to do is the Secretary of State will send you some paperwork once they accept your business name and everything else, and they'll say, hey, here's your business ID number, here's your actual certificate that you're real, and then they will narc on you to the state comptroller, and they will say, hey, this person has a new business, and the comptroller will kindly send you a letter and say, by the way, you need to pay us sales tax when you sell stuff. But they will also give you a sales tax certificate so that you are allowed to collect that sales tax, and so you can show other businesses that you are a reseller and that you should be buying inventory products tax-free. So the comptroller should contact you about that. There will be other things you need to register through the IRS to get an employer ID number. The IRS is difficult to deal with because while your state may have certain requirements for the name of your business, the IRS has to collate all those names across 50 states plus territories and everything else. And so no matter what name of a business you have come up with, the IRS has probably already seen it, even if it is unique in your state. And so I remember when I called and was talking with a person at the IRS to get this set up, and he basically said that the system is dumb, and when you put in the name of your business, like Final Trade LLC, which is what Texas says my business is named, for the IRS, put it in as L.L.C or L.LC. Or find some combination that has not been used by the IRS by someone else and get it to accept that. And it has never been an issue. I don't remember what spacing between L and C and which letters got dots and which didn't. I got it approved and it has never come up again. Now, the IRS is additionally difficult to work with because they have websites that you need to use to get your business registration and your EIN number approval and all that stuff. And they take those websites down on the weekends. When business hours close, they deactivate the websites. It is the IRS, yes. And so once you get that kind of stuff done, you'll need to go down to a bank, and the bank will want to see that you have your paperwork from your Secretary of State, that you're a real business, that you have a sales tax certificate, that you have an EIN from the IRS, and then they will begin the process of giving you a business banking account. And depending on what bank you go with, it may be free to have a business banking account, or you may need to maintain a minimum balance in your account. Otherwise, there's a monthly fee. It just varies bank to bank. I originally banked at PNC. It was a nightmare. And finally, in the second half of 2024, I went through a long process of switching everything over to Chase, and it is so much nicer. PNC just absolutely has no idea what it's doing. Their business banking website would just be down in the middle of the day on a business day. And it's like, how are we supposed to run businesses when our bank's website is down during the business day? But that was PNC. Don't use them. I'm happy with Chase. I've been with Chase for my personal accounts for like 25 years. Works fine for me. So you get that stuff done. You've got a sales tax certificate. You've got a business license. You've got a business banking account. Then you can start going to places like eBay and Amazon and TCG Player and working with each of them to put your sales tax certificate on file so that they all know you are a real business, that is in the business of reselling these products and that they should no longer charge you sales tax. Now, they have different ways of doing it. Amazon, of course, is hyper automated. It is all software based. You do it on the website and it works great. TCG Player has to do it manually. It takes a couple weeks. eBay is in between because it's a disaster of 25-year-old software, a lot of which has never been updated. So, it kind of sits there in the middle ground. On eBay, it will change your account so that everything you buy on eBay is now sales tax free. So when you buy something for personal use, you need to account for that when you are remitting sales tax to your state government. On Amazon, it's really nice, of course. And when you get to the checkout screen, it tells you for each item, it says sales tax has been removed for this, and you can click a button right there for each individual item to re-enable sales tax on anything that you are not reselling, anything that you are the final user of. So it makes it very, very easy. So you set that up, and a lot of companies are pretty easygoing when it comes to working with you on taking your sales tax stuff. Like, I've gotten set up at several websites that I buy from time to time that are not the big dealers like eBay, Amazon, TCG Player. So it's pretty easy. Even if you have a local store, you can often just go in there. They'll know how to do it too. They'll know what form you need to fill out for the state. They'll make a copy of your sales tax certificate, and then you can buy tax-free from your local store because you are legitimately a reseller. And that's the biggest thing that comes along with this, is that you get your product sales tax free, which you should, because you're reselling it. You're not the end user of it. And I can't imagine, I know it happens, but I can't believe people do it, that, for a mere $300 in Texas, at least, to set up your business, you no longer pay sales tax on the stuff that you're building your business out of. And yet there are people who will pay the sales tax forever instead of one time spending a few $100s to get it taken off forever. So people choose to do that. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't just go through the process, get it fixed. So now that you're a real business, what you'll need to do is when you file your income taxes for the IRS at the end of the year, you'll have to fill out Schedule C. You have to fill out Schedule SE, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, I think Schedule 3. It adds several other papers that you have to do on your taxes. And it's another thing where it's kind of a difficult, confusing challenge, but it's also pretty easy. And what I mean by that is that the first year that you do it, yes, it's going to take you probably 6 hours to do all the additional tax stuff for your business, because as you're going through it, it'll say, hey, on this line, add in this number that you computed on Schedule 2. And you'll be like, I didn't even know I needed to do Schedule 2. And now you have to print out Schedule 2 and you have to go through and do it. And for each of these additional schedules, you have to go to the instructions. You have to look up for each line if you don't understand it. What is this for? What is the intent of this line? How do I fill this out? And so the first time you go through all of the business tax stuff, it does take a long time. But the next year, the forms are not going to change much from the last year. You take your forms from last year, you take the updated forms from this year, you set them side by side, and for the most part, anything you didn't need to have a number for on the form last year, you probably won't need to have a number for on the form this year. And so a lot of it is just copying that, hey, all of these lines are dashes because they do not apply to my business. The other thing that helps a lot is the way that you do your accounting in your business. You will be able to alter it so that the numbers you need for your IRS forms are simply spit out by your accounting spreadsheets. And so at this point in Final Trade's history, I can do all of my business taxes in under an hour for the IRS. And it's just not a big deal. My spreadsheets spit out the numbers that I need. I know which lines on the form get dashes, which ones get zeros, and which ones I need to find actual data for. So it's the beginning of the year. And really the benefit of doing it right now is that you have the maximum possible time that you can benefit from this before you have to do things like your federal taxes and account for it there. If you had started this on December 28th, then you would have some filing requirements for 2024 because your business existed for 3 days. So that's why I say the beginning of January is the best time to go ahead and make your business official, get your sales tax exemption, get it on file with all of the big sellers that you normally buy from, and make your business more efficient. The other thing is, once you're set up and you're doing a Schedule C with the IRS, man, you get to take deductions. You get to take all the sweet, juicy deductions that your business deserves, like all of your shipping materials, all of your supplies for the business. You got to buy BCW boxes. That's a tax deduction. You got to buy more bubble mailers. You got to buy bubble wrap. You got to buy tape. You got to buy postage. All of those things, those are deductions, and you should be getting those. If you go on a trip out of town to a card show to buy inventory for your business, that trip is a deductible expense. So you get to deduct all those things to make your business much more efficient and more profitable. So go ahead and get to work on that. Like I said, it takes a couple of weeks, and there are various times along the way where you feel like you're stuck in a catch-22, where the bank says you need to have this and the IRS says, but no, first you need to have a business banking account, and you feel like you're stuck. And you can always get through those log jams. Just keep talking with the different groups, tell them what you have, and they'll work with you. Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Funnel Trade.